G'day guys, my name is WadZee, and today I'm going to be building myself in Minecraft. Using this gorgeous photo of me, I first removed the background and then put it into a Minecraft pixel art generator. And now I'm going to build this entire thing in survival Minecraft. And it's going to take forever, so please, whatever you do, if you aren't already, press that subscribe button to see more ridiculous things in Minecraft. Enjoy the video. It should come as no surprise that I have a lot of blocks to collect right now. And I don't really know where to start. In fact, before I could start building, I had a list of exactly 27,123 blocks I would need to collect. Some of these were completely random, but I found the majority of these blocks could be found underground, like 4,300 polished diorite or 3,200 raw iron blocks, for example. So this seemed like the place to start, and the fun begins. The item I need the most of right now is mostly iron. I do need a few blocks of coal, which is still not the easiest thing, but compared to the amount of iron I need, the coal is like, it's nothing major. Oh, I just remembered I also need a ridiculous amount of diorite as well. So I should probably start mining all the diorite I see. It's actually crazy the amount of this stuff I'm gonna need. Why did I wear a white t-shirt? I mean, I guess it could have been worse. Could have worn a bright blue t-shirt and had to get all diamond blocks. Alright, so small update. So far I've managed to get 23 blocks of raw iron, and I need over 3,000, so you could say I'm gonna be at this for a while. And if that doesn't sound like much, keep in mind for every block I need 9 pieces of raw iron. So really I need to mine 29,520 raw iron, or 461 stacks. And this isn't even for 20% of the blocks I'll need for this build. Right, and after about 2 hours of mining, I've got a quick update. I think I've ticked off my first block. With that, I now have 4 full shulker boxes full of diorite and 4 additional stacks on top of that. And that's a good block to tick off first because that makes up majority of this build. I made sure to travel a little further out in my world since I was going to need over 1,000 copper blocks as well. And I spent 10 hours and the rest of day 1 just exploring different caves in my world, searching for as much copper and iron as I could find. Alright, I've been mining all day just for iron and copper, so I thought I'd give a quick update for where I'm at. And this is how many raw copper and iron blocks I have. Now for all the different types of copper blocks I need, I think I figured it out that I need 23 stacks. So I'm getting kind of close to ticking off copper. But the real issue here is the raw iron, because I'm gonna need over 50 stacks of this stuff. And I've spent a whole day and only managed to get 18 stacks of it. So I'm realizing now collecting these blocks is going to take way longer than I thought. I finished day 1 of this project by collecting the rest of the copper that I needed and then returned on day 2 to try and conquer this iron. It is now day 2 of mining, and this is how much iron I've managed to get today. So we're at about 36 stacks of raw iron blocks. Again, reminder, we need 53 stacks. Another enchanted apple. That's my 3rd enchanted god apple in the last 2 days. Okay, that was absurd. I hate ravines, man. I hate ravines. My heart, I can't handle it. The end of an era is near because I only need 1 more entire stack of raw iron blocks, which is still a lot, but we're gonna finish it off quickly here. And after 2 whole days of exploring caves and mining, it was finally time to return home. But when I got home, I noticed something really strange. Wait, why are my bees everywhere? Was I away from home for too long or something? What the hell is this? Why? Wait, why? This seems bad. This seems very, very bad. This has to be a glitch. I didn't think I had this many bees. And well, then the bees started dispersing. Wait, this actually has to be a glitch. Look, they just keep appearing. I keep flying and they just keep appearing everywhere. Everywhere. How is this a thing? But bee glitches aside, in the last 2 days, I managed to collect thousands of copper and iron blocks, as well as an assortment of stones and random ores. And now I could move on to another category of block to collect. I need over 4,000 terracotta blocks, all different colors and types. Majority of that is white terracotta. Okay, wait, this is actually so much easier than the iron, because in like 5 minutes, I've managed to collect over 600 terracotta blocks. All right, and that should be all the white terracotta mined. Now I just need to go through my list and figure out what other colors I need. I also need a little bit of red terracotta, but not the most. But at this point, I'd only collected around 40% of the blocks I'd need for this giant build. So for the rest of day 2, I collected a couple thousand birch logs. From that point there, all the way across to here, I have torn down every single tree. But now I still need about 300 or so stripped birch logs. And for something a little different, a bunch of mushroom blocks as well. Oh, that's a tall boy. By day 3, there was still a bunch of random blocks I was yet to tick off my list. For example, clay, mycelium, and a bunch of different types of concrete. But there was one block on my list that had been haunting me from the start. 56 ancient debris. All right, now this really takes me back. I don't know if I mentioned this enough, but I kind of like made a full netherite beacon and had to mine over 5,000 ancient debris. So even just crafting all this TNT, it's bringing back a whole bunch of memories right now. Oh, okay. Oh, it's good to be back. I don't know why, but I missed this. Oh! Luck is on my side today. Oh, what is going on? This is not meant to be this easy, I assure you. And in less than 1 hour of mining in the nether, I had found all 56 ancient debris I needed, and after collecting a few other blocks from the nether as well, I was one step closer to having all the blocks I needed to build myself in Minecraft. I actually forgot I need to smelt all this copper and turn it into blocks, just when I thought I was getting close to being done. I'm just gonna sit around here and smelt up majority of these. So the copper thing became a bit of a problem. Not only did I have to wax it all, but a large majority of these blocks needed to be weathered, and well, here's how that went. I have over 1,000 blocks here that I'm waiting to weather on, and while I wait for that to happen, I'm going to be grinding for 500 hay bales so I can make roughly 500 target blocks. It has been a long time since we've even got a single block to oxidize. In fact, I might just build a sizable wheat farm while I wait for this all to oxidize. So I have managed to farm all of this wheat. And in this time, let's check in with our copper and see just how much has managed to oxidize. Surely we've got like 100 odd blocks by now. Maybe more, I would hope. Or maybe we have only 2 new blocks oxidized. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Well, my copper oxidizing is not coming along well at all, but at the very least, the giant wheat farm I've created is working out. And after crafting all my target blocks and a couple jukeboxes, all I was waiting on was this copper. And after I descended into madness from 3 hours of nothingness, I decided to give up and just leave my computer on for the rest of the night. At least finally, all my copper seems to be done. And for anyone wondering, the best way to oxidize your copper is definitely not to place all your blocks together, and instead you should spread them out. And I wish I knew this earlier. It would have saved me a ton of time. Regardless, I had now spent 3 days straight collecting 27,000 blocks, and it was finally time to start building myself in Minecraft. By the way, in every episode of Hardcore Minecraft, I plant 200 more melons to this melon farm. So if you want to see how big this thing grows, make sure to subscribe. I chose this nice open spot behind my nether build to build myself, and it wasn't until these preparations and measurements that I realized for the first time just how ridiculous this was. Okay, I'm realizing now this is probably too big. This thing is going to span from all the way over there to over there. All right, let's give this a go. And now I just follow along with the guide. Oh, this gets hard to follow at some points. Okay, there's already a block I'm missing. Need a coal ore. I need some clay. And then we just go right back to diorite. My first idea for building this was the printer method, where I'd go one layer at a time from the bottom upwards. But I realized quite quickly that this method sucked, because on just the first layer, I had already made multiple mistakes. Oh no, I actually stuffed it all up. There was a block here I didn't have, so instead of skipping the space, oh no. So I changed my strategy to try and build clusters of the same block first, and I found this much easier. Hell yes. I mean, this is progress. The first hour of building this was very slow, but I realized this was going to take forever, so I had to pick up the pace. So right now I kind of just want to like fill in from here across to there so we have all this done. Okay, I'm definitely getting better at this as well. It's looking good. It's looking mighty good. I'm still going to keep focusing on up top up there. But soon I want to start building the hand, because that is actually like such a large part of this thing. It might not seem like it, but 7 hours had passed since I started building this thing. Since I had to spend so much time checking my reference and making sure I wasn't making any mistakes. Then it was time to add the hand. All right, let's see. And if I've done my math correctly, should be able to build across and have it meet up perfectly with what I've already built. Oh wait, I actually did it. Oh, I don't know why I was doubting myself. Now I have an arm. Finally, I have an arm. And I've pretty much completed everything that's my shirt. I think the rest is like my head and then like my hand. And this is my thumb. I mean, well, right now we're going to start transitioning from white blocks to more of the tanned blocks. White blocks of iron and the white terracotta. So day 5 came around, and it may seem like I'm getting pretty close to finishing this build, but that's where you're wrong, because the difficulty of this whole operation was about to increase. All right, so I have this giant problem right now where 2 of the blocks I'm kind of needing to place right now require a lot of work. For one, these mushroom blocks, because I need the inside texture of these blocks. Also the birch logs, because I have so many of these things I need to place, and they all need to have the log facing outward. So I can't just like place the blocks everywhere. It's taking a ton of effort, and it's quite the dilemma. And so the era of the birch logs and mushroom blocks began, and progress started getting much slower. Oh, wow, progress is so much slower when I have to do all this stuff with the dirt and the... We've almost finished my palm, and then we can go off to the fingies. This hand is majority of this build. I don't know why I did this pose. Well, I do, because I thought it would be kind of more interesting than me just sitting there and smiling. But having my giant hand like this has been an absolute nightmare. If I just had my face, this would have been over by now. Wow, I actually have fingers now. I'm kind of missing a couple, but this has been an experience. This is by no means easy. This has been such a struggle. Now, where this gets really fun is when I have to pay attention to all the finer details, and I have to swap blocks every 2 seconds. Also, this is telling me to put mycelium here, but I'm also putting a block on top of it. So why not just turn back into... dirt. Over 6 hours had passed since I started building on day 5, and I was getting awfully close to finishing the largest part of this build, which is my giant hand. I spent another hour filling in my last 2 fingers, and now this thing was starting to look really cool. Why do I feel I'm about to get grabbed? Now that that's done, all I have left is my head. You can see I've got the start of my neck here. Just got to put a head on these shoulders, and then it'll be done. And just as I thought the end was almost in sight, things got harder again. See, my face has the highest concentration of differing blocks in the whole build. So I would have to spend even more time swapping blocks and making sure I get every single detail correct. Finally got my head outlined, and somehow this just keeps getting harder and harder. I knew the face would be difficult, but this is way more challenging than any part of this I've done yet, because there's just so many different blocks and it's so much more intricate. So all I've got to do is fill this in, but it's probably gonna take a while. Getting close. Just gotta finish off my nose, my 2 eyes, all my hair. I'll be done. After feeling this build would go on forever, finally I was about to enter the home stretch. 5 days. 27,123 blocks. Over 50 hours of hard work and determination. So many boundaries to overcome. Anybody else would have used creative, but when no one else would do it, I rose to the challenge. I never stopped grinding, I never stopped working, and I never gave up. And finally, I have finished building myself in hardcore Minecraft. So does this just make me a massive narcissist? Or look, this entire video took entirely too long to make, but if you did enjoy, make sure to subscribe to see more ridiculous things done in Minecraft in the future. Cheers. Oh hey, if you haven't already, go follow me on my Instagram and Twitter for additional WadZee content. And speaking of additional content, I've also been posting quite often on my second channel as well, so go check it out. All links are in the description.